In this map are areas in the case that we need to go step by step. I will tell you how to apply this map in your case taking. You can often sit with this map when you're taking a case so that you don't miss out on something, at least initially when you start the cases. There are many things which are not there in this map as well that we will talk about. So, first of all, the topic case taking. Case taking is a very fluid process. It's very difficult to put it in a structure. It's very difficult. But I've tried to put it so that you will get an idea. But honestly, case taking is very fluid and there are different ways of doing cases. Very often, case taking starts even before the case comes in front of you. Very often, patient calls me up for an appointment or they contact us for an appointment. They may email us, they may write to us. Just by that, you may understand the basic personality type, the basic nature of the person. So focus on how they take appointments. There are some patients who will call up for an appointment every time and not turn up. They'll call up, "Mujhe appointment chahiye. I want an appointment to come and meet you," but they will not come. And after 2-3 years, they will come. "Oh, I wanted to come, but I tend to postpone a lot." That is that person's basic pattern. Postponing. Few patients don't take appointment on their own. They will ask someone else to take appointment for them. Sometimes it could be a family member. Sometimes when I'm not able to give an appointment, some patient may put pressure. How they put pressure? They will call up someone who know me or who are directly in touch with me. "Oh, please give this person an appointment." This also show a lot about their basic patterns, how they are reacting, how they are responding, how they are coping up in this situation. So often we say that the case taking starts before the patient comes in the clinic or before the person meets you or talks to you. Case taking may not only depend on when the patient comes and meets you in your clinic. Case taking can also be dependent on how the patient responds or talks to your reception or to your team of doctors who are working with you. Some patients come inside the clinic and they will just, before they start the case, they will be like, "Doctor, I will be more comfortable if I talk to you alone and there is no one with you." Also shows a little bit about them. We don't know what it means, but it's an important point. Why does this person want to talk to me only? Could be that this person is a little secretive. Could be that this person is a little exclusive, that I will only talk to the doctor and no one below it. So you have to understand this nuances. You have to understand this very, very basic kind of patterns of the person. Sometimes patients come in the clinic, they sit in front of you and they will be like, "Okay, so what should we do next?" Some patients will come in and they are totally confused. What should I do? Some people come in and their hands are fidgety like this. We are observing all of this. As a homeopath, you have to observe all this. Person is very fidgety. Person's feet are very restless. Sometimes patient comes and says, "Oh, the AC is a little low. Can you increase the AC?" Quickly you get the thermals. Maybe this person is a hot patient. So all these very, very minute kind of points. Then we now come to the directly to the main part of the case taking. So all these, what I was telling you, is what is called as setting up the background. Before the patient comes in, very often in my mind, I already have a little bit of a idea about who is this person. Body language. You have to study this body language. You will learn to study body language after seeing a few cases. Some patients, they will keep looking down. They will not be able to look into your eye. Shows there is some kind of unresolved conflict within them. While some patients will just look into your eyes and they're very confident. Shows different set of remedies. Some person you ask, "Can you tell me about your problems?" And he will look at his wife and tell, "Okay, aap hi batao." Shows the pattern of maybe dependency. So who gives the case? How he gives the case? What happens before he gives the first word? Is all these things are very important. Now we come to the main thing in the case taking. One of the first things in the case taking, after setting the background, is, I'm not put it on this map, is coming to a diagnosis. The role of the homeopath cannot be only to give a remedy. If we can at least find what is possibly the clinical diagnosis, what is the pathology involved. It helps a lot in prescription. You will see that in the cases that I do, which I will teach you, you will see that. So coming to diagnosis, very often in some cases, I may actually tell the patient that you do these investigations and then come to me, and I will be able to treat you better, because if I know the diagnosis a little better, I will be able to find a better remedy for you. This is not because I can't find the remedy, it's just that it helps. It helps with prognosis also, it helps in follow-ups also, and it often helps in choosing or finalizing the remedy also. So what are the different aspects of the case? The case I have divided into three parts. The first part is related to the complaints. So you can see this thing at the upper part. This is the complaints. The next part is where I have put across is generally the generalities, or in Kantian terminology, you can call it as physical generals. And the next set of areas are what you can call as the mentals or the mind symptoms. So these are the different areas, the broad perspectives of different areas in a case taking map, if I had to think about it in that direction. So in the chief complaint, what are the different areas? One of the important areas, as we already know in our studies, is the location. And this is very important. Which area is the patient seeing is the particular problem. Very, very important. Sometimes patient says, I get abdominal pain. I tell them to I ask them to tell me exactly which area are you talking about. You may say, oh, I feel a lot of flatulence. Which area? I feel a lot of flatulence only on the left side. Is it? This is interesting. So now what am I doing here? This is called as probing the peculiar. Probing the peculiar. What is probing the peculiar? Is when a patient says a vague symptom. Oh, I पेट में दर्द होता है. I get abdomen pain. You go a little more. You point and go a little deeper to it. Yes. What do you mean by this? Can you describe me exactly what it means? Or you can just say I didn't follow. Can you explain again? मुझे नहीं समझा. आप थोड़ा वापस बोल सकते हो. So knowing the specific exact location, sometimes patient may not be able to say, so that is okay. You don't have to be very watertight and take a hammer and put in the person's brain. No. But if you can, that's the art and the skill of the homeopath, to just maneuver, as they say, like a banana and a needle in it. The location, very, very important. And here also comes in which system is affected. Which system is affected. Which organ is affected. This is also comes in location only. Very important. Which system, which organ is affected. Why? Because there are certain homeopathic remedies which have specific sphere of action. This is very, very important. Recently, I saw a very difficult case of COVID pneumonia. We were treating it, but I wasn't able to really help the patient, and I was not happy. I gave 2, 3 remedies at different points, and then when we studied the case, we found out that mainly his right lower lobe is affected. And when I studied the whole case, it was a beautiful case, and it came out to be a very beautiful case of chelidonium, the right side lungs lower. Are you able to see the screen? So I was talking to you about location, sphere of action. I was talking to you about certain remedies have certain sphere of action. And this patient did very well on chelidonium. He was admitted in the hospital with help of homeopathy. He was able to recover sooner. Very beautiful case. Maybe sometime I will show you this case, maybe, if we get a chance. Similarly, many sphere of action is very important. When patient tells me that, oh, I get ulcers in my mouth, I want to know which particular part you get ulcers. I get ulcer in the cheeks. Okay. What do you mean by cheeks? Inner side of the cheek. Okay, interesting. So whenever patient tells you a symptom, probe the peculiar. That is the first lesson for today. Will you remember this? Let me put it for you. So first is go deeper and probe the peculiar. Yes, I want you to remember. I was talking to you about organs. There are certain remedies which have a specific organ affinity. For example, I'm just giving you a random example. For example, when you see a kind of, I'll give you an example. I was treating a difficult case of ITP, idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura. It is a difficult, complicated case. And one of the main thing I was seeing is that the spleen was getting affected a lot. So when I studied the case, it came out to be a beautiful case of Ceonanthus. Okay, you can see this Boric has written Boger. I'm reading from Boger Synoptic. in Boger synoptically, sphere of action, spleen, Sionanthus. Very beautifully, we were able to help this child with ITP, with Sionanthus. So, and there is an entire case. You don't only go by sphere of action. There's an entire history. There's an entire analysis, the entire rubrics that you study. But it was interesting for me. The next is very importantly the sensation. Here we are focusing on the local sensation. This is very very important. How does the patient experience the pain? What is the type of that the patient experiences? Sometimes patients may not be able to know the sensation and what we mean by that, because they will just say it's a pain. Sometimes we have to educate the patient, like a throbbing pain, maybe a pulsating pain, maybe a piercing pain, a neuralgic pain, different types of pain, different types of pain. I had a very interesting case of diabetes, and this guy with the diabetes used to have a strange sensation, and the main sensation was a lot of sinking feeling in the pit of the stomach. Okay, strange sinking, lot of sinking feeling, lot of hollow feeling. Okay, at the pit of the stomach, and it was a difficult case of diabetes, which really improved on the remedy stannum metallicum. The main symptom of sinking sensation. So strange, no? There is no relation of diabetes and sinking sensation, only in pit of the stomach. And it was a beautiful case of stannum metallicum. You know, stannum metallicum, and this guy was a very creative guy. Stannum metallicum are very creative people, very very creative. They are like argentum nitricum. They are the performers. So sensations. So you have to go deeper, understand the sensation. Modalities. This is finally one of the most important things. One of the biggest contributions of Bonninghausen was modalities, and especially understanding modalities, aggravations and ameliorations. Very very important. In fact, there is an entire repertory which I use a lot, Boger Bonninghausen repertory, where modalities are the most important things. Anyone who has been following me knows how much I use Boger Bonninghausen characteristics repertory in acutes with beautiful results. Here, modalities are very useful. So, aggravations, ameliorations. Today, one patient said that she gets cough only at 11 a.m., at the forenoon. So, cough during forenoon. This was the symptom. Strange, One patient recently told that she gets cough as soon as she starts brushing or cleaning the teeth causes cough. Focus कहता है. अच्छा? So just the modalities. We had a beautiful case of COVID, post-COVID cough remaining. And when I studied the case, the main symptom was that the cough especially improves lying on back. Once he lies on the back, the cough just totally goes away. This is strange because when you lie on the back, there automatically the gravity causes tickling and spasm of the inner gut. So when it's the opposite, that is lying, ameliorate. Beautiful case of manganum aceticum. Beautiful. It was the entire history. Manganum acid. So modalities, this is where modalities are so very, very, very useful. And so are aggravations and ameliorations both, not only one. I had a very interesting case. Very, very aggravated by noise. Slightest noise can cause an aggravation. So extreme reactivity towards noise is also a sensitivity. We come to the next, concomitants. So concomitants are again very, very important as well. Concomitants are symptoms which come along with the complaints, which may or may not be totally connected. One of my teachers, Dr. L.M. Khan, he used to say that the more away the symptom is from the chief complaint, the more its significance. Which means that if you have stomach pain, which is better by flatulence, this is common. because automatically, if there is a flatulence, the stomach pressure goes away. But if there is a symptom which is very far, which has no connection to it, like involuntary motion of one hand along with abdomen pain. Now, why would abdomen pain cause involuntary motion of one hand? This would be important, a concomitant. How to see concomitant? You can get it in the repertory. One of the best repertories to see this is Boger Bonninghausen. How do you see it? So there is a repertory, Bonninghausen's repertory. So you can see cough and you can see concomitant. Cough, concomitant, ear obstructed. You can see Chelidonium and Silica. While coughing, the ear is obstructed. This is a concomitant. We come to the next, but the most important thing, and I give a lot of importance to this. And any good homeopath will give a lot of importance to this. Is the exciting factor, or what I like to call as the origin, duration, progress. So what you have to do when patient tells me that I have my problem is arthritis. Okay. So for example, you have to go back and tell them, okay, can you tell me from childhood till now, what were the main illnesses that you've had? From childhood till now, what were the main stresses that you've had? So the patient will tell you, that in my childhood I had measles or mumps, or in my adulthood when I was in my 10th standard, I had a big mental breakdown after my 10th exams or whatever. You have to understand that what has been the cause and the relation of the previous physical, mental history connected with the current complaints. This has to be done in a very, very methodical way. This has to be, so you have to write like year by year. The way I, in my mind, sometimes I don't write it. Previously, I used to write it. So I would write it down that, okay, the complaints of arthritis started in, let's say, 2021, 2020, 2020. And there was a lot of grief in 2018. Okay. And in his childhood, 2005, he had mumps. Okay. And 2001, in his childhood, he had a lot of history of dysentery. So I would make like that. So this will help me a lot to understand the origin, duration, progress of the illness. The origin, duration, progress. Very important. I'm teaching you from the basics. एकदम प्यार से पढ़ा रहा हूँ आपको. Are you all with me? You're all awake. That's good. So, exciting factor. Origin, duration, progress. Very, very important. One of the things that we often miss as homeopaths, because this is an unfortunate thing. In homeopathy, it is important to go to root cause of problems. But what we have done in last 30 years in homeopathy, and I can't say as if I'm an 80-year-old man, but when I talk about the history of homeopathy, in last 30 years, there has been more importance to the mental state, to the psychodynamics, which is okay, but it has been given more importance than ever. Almost so much that we often don't take physical history at all. Many of homeopaths don't take past history. Many homeopaths don't take physical generals. They only want to prescribe only based on mind. Then we are missing the trick somewhere. So very often I try to understand, so very often I see ophthalmic cases, I try to understand what is the problem. So there is a problem in the retina. When did this start? Oh, I had fever about 10 years back, and after that my vision got affected. Okay. What was the symptom in fever? Oh, I had a lot of joint pains. What else was happening? I had a flu. So now for me, it's important to know that the retina problems, the visual problems started after the flu. So I will study this. Are you with me? So what I will do, I will study that the retina problem starting after influenza. If I study that, there's only one remedy here. It's a remedy called as salicylic acid. Inflammation in the retina after influenza. Interesting, no? So interesting. Inflammation in the retina after influenza. The remedy is salicylicum acidum. So in this way, you have to understand. My teacher, one of my teachers, Dr. Sarkar from Kolkata, almost for every arthritis patient, he used to ask, "Tell me about if you ever had diarrhea." And he used to practice in a village, Thakurnagar, in Bangladesh. So if patients say that I had diarrhea or dysentery 2 years back, so diarrhea, and then what did you do? He said, "Oh, I didn't do anything. I took some antibiotics and the diarrhea stopped. And after 2 years, I developed this joint problem." Straight away, he gives the remedy abrotanum. So he correlates that suppressed diarrhea 2 years before the joint problem started. One of the top remedies could be abrotanum. So again, you can see here a lot of connection of exciting factor. But there's a lot of importance to the mental aspect as well. A lot of importance of effect of mind state to the problems. I was treating a case of difficult liver issues, and I tried to understand this person's history, and we realized that there has been a lot of experience of insult and humiliation and vexation in this person's life. And I realized that this person told that his father insulted him a lot, and he felt lot of insult, lot of vexation, lot of a kind of deep insult. And after that, he developed jaundice, and then he developed liver problems. Very nicely, we analyzed the case. We analyzed that the main problem was was vexation, and vexation causing liver issues. So this is a Clark repertory. You can see there's a specific section called as causation. So vexation or insult, vexation is a kind of a feeling of insult, strong feeling of insult, strong feeling of disharmony, strong feeling of vexation causing jaundice. The remedy came out to be a very beautiful case of aurum muriaticum natrionatum. Very beautiful case of, I think it was a case of a liver failure or chronic liver disease or something. And with aurum muriaticum, there was a very beautiful result. I know you must be thinking about how I use the repertories, but that is a different topic. You will you will learn about this. Hopefully, you will learn the idea and the whole art of using the repertory. But coming back to the exciting factor, mental emotions, emotional emotions, physical factors, all these are very important. Strong family history. It's very also very important. What are the illnesses in the family? Sometimes can show you a kind of a background, like my guru used to call the soil. What means the soil? Soil is the area on which the plant grows. Similarly, family history is the family history is the soil on which the person's constitution grows. So understanding family history in cases where there has been a history of lot of rheumatisms, lot of sexual harassment, in family history of paralysis, strokes. You're thinking about syphilitic miasm, heart problems. You're thinking about syphilitic miasms. So strong family history, family history can be very, very, very important. Past history, I was talking to you about, very important. Very often, mothers bring their children to us, and there are many skin problems and digestion problems for the child, and everything starts after vaccination. After vaccination, there are skin eczemas, skin problem, there is digestion issues, constipation, headaches, skin allergies, different food allergies. So important past history. What is the past history? There was vaccination. After that, it started. There are many remedies. I mean, the main remedy is thuja. One of the remedies that we use a lot is the remedy called as torula. You can see torula here. and it's a very very important remedy given by Yingling. Psychotic remedy, anaphylactic state produced by proteins and enzymes. When external proteins, external enzymes are reacting with internal harmony, the remedy could be Torula. It's a beautiful remedy, especially in children's cases. After you take the chief complaint, you can decide whether you want to focus at the physical generals or the mentals or the mind symptoms. Now, how to decide whether you want to go to the mind symptoms or physical generals? My question to you, what do you feel? How do you decide? And there are different ways of going about it. For me, yeah, for me, it's a very simple way of deciding. I decide based on the level of the case, which means if the case is, you can see a strong emotional background, you know, to the chief complaint. If you see a kind of a tip of the iceberg pattern, when you're taking the chief complaint itself, you get an idea that this person has a strong unresolved emotional issue. Then you can start with the mental factor. But some cases, patients' experience is very low. They are not able to talk so much. In those cases, you can start physical journey. So keep it open. Don't decide beforehand. Let the patient decide. Okay? Let the patient decide what is best for him. So when a patient has a strong emotional kind of a factor that you can see in a case, one of the first fact, then there are different areas of case taking in the mind state that you want to go into. You don't have to go into factor one, factor two. It has to be like a flow. You have to go with the flow. One of my patients started off saying that, I asked him, what is your problem? How did it start? He said, Doctor, can I tell you from my childhood? I say, yeah, please tell me. So sometimes it's important for the patient to just express from the way the person wants to express. Sometimes the whole pattern and the root is developed from the childhood. Sometimes even before childhood. So one of the important factors is effect of the problem on you. This is a very important question. This is especially in a chronic case. You don't want to ask effect of the problem on you when a patient has a pneumonia. He will look at you and probably never want to look at you again. The effect of the problem on you often points out towards what is the deeper issue for the patient. One of my patient, I asked him, he had a problem of arthritis and skin problems. I asked, what is the effect of problem on you? And he had an interesting answer. He said that my sexual life is affected. I said, can you tell me about it? And he said, he spoke about his sexual life and how it is hampering him and everything. So this kind of question can often open up for you. What is the person's deeper unresolved kind of pattern? What is it about this person that actually is more important for that person? What is that person's perception of reality? So effect of the problem on you. Very important question. The other very important thing that important area is relationships, and that is something that we often don't focus at. How is the person's relationships, and how is the pattern in the relationships? Very very important. One of my patients used to tell me, my whole thing is, my main issue is my relationship with my brother, because I feel that he is he is like a father figure for me. I take advice from him. So his entire life is about just taking guidance from his brother like this. When I asked about relationship to another person, he spoke about his two relationships. So he spoke about his extramarital relationship and how it affects his personal life. Also shows a lot about him as a person. Crisis situation. This is a very important question. In your life, what has been the most difficult and biggest crisis situation? How did you react and what did you feel? This can often open up the case for you. One of my patients told me he had arthritis. He told me his biggest problem was, biggest crisis situation was that when he had a family together and the family broke, and once the family separated, this separation from his family affected him a lot. So the separation became the deeper experience of the person. That became his deeper pattern, that he cannot face a separation because he feels very, very lonely. He feels he's not evolved that much. He feels he's not able to take on life without his family. So separation he cannot take. Go in the crisis situation, go deeper in the crisis situation. The next important area is fears and anxieties. And very often my cases who can write to me, I give them the case record form beforehand, and they fill that up for me. And there are many kind of questions in that. Although my case record form is very short, probably 7 or 8 pages. So when they fill that up and send me, and when I read it, it kind of tells me a lot about the person. I come to know which area I want to focus at. Just today, I did a case of hepatitis, and this person who has a very high jaundice, he says that everything started after a situation where he was in Varanasi and Banaras, and there was some kind of a Baba who came and he scared him, and he got so scared. He gave him money and went away, and somewhere that fright later on caused him this fever, and then he got jaundice and so many other things. Somewhere that fear, fright remaining. It was a beautiful case of chelidonium, and I'm confident he will do very well with it. Dreams, very, very important. It is a subconscious window, as Freud would say. It's a subconscious window towards the person's pattern. One of my patient, yeah, one of my patient, just recently, very peculiar dream. She said. I said, "What is a dream? Tell me." So she said, "A very beautiful dream, and I will show you how we analyze the dream." I said, "What happened?" She says, "In the dream, I'm not wearing any clothes. I'm totally naked." I said, "Okay." And then he said, "Everyone is looking at me. I feel very, very embarrassed. And it's a very dirty feeling for me. And I'm trying to run away, but I'm not able to run away." Okay. What do you feel? I feel like very tight in that situation. I feel like trapped. So very interesting. You kind of understand all the components of the dream. What are the components of the dream? Number one, number one, that she feels naked. That in the dream she sees that she's naked. What is her feeling? Her feeling is that of embarrassment. What does she do in that situation? She try to run away. She try to go away, but she's not able to. And what happens because of that? She feel, what does she feel? She feel trapped. So what I did, I divided the dream into different components. Component one, that she feel naked. Component two, her feeling of embarrassment. Component three, she's trying to run, that is dreams, efforts unsuccessful. And component four, I feel trapped. And then when I repertorize the case, very beautiful, and it came out to be a very beautiful case of lac equinum. So beautiful, no? And the entire history then came out to be that of lac equinum. Are you following? Are you all with me? Say yes so that I know you're awake. Okay, you're awake. No problem. I'm teaching you very, very basic stuff, but I'm trying to go in depth and take you all together in this. I want this session to be free flowing. I want to share with my heart all my experiences about case taking, how to use it, how to understand it. I'm going to show you different cases. I'm going to show you like never before. I'm going to show you repertory. We are going to train you a lot. But just this whole pattern of how to do case taking, I want to share with you. Okay, let's go to the next area. So I was talking to you about dreams. This is very important. Dreams can sometimes um, give you a lot of deeper pattern about a person, and we use it a lot. Understanding dreams. Now, the thing about dreams that you need to understand is that the dream has to be very intense. It has to be something that a person has to remember sometimes vividly. It has to be a repeated pattern for us to put it right up in the evaluation order. If it's a very random dream, ek aadh baar aaya, oh, many years back I saw my father in the dream, but I don't remember what happened. Then you don't take that dream. Take a dream that is central to the case. You should know what is central and what is peripheral. Central is something that is very intense, that almost connects to the person, that connects to the other patterns of a person. Peripheral is something which is very random, that patient doesn't even remember. Childhood. This is so important. The more I'm doing cases, my friends, the more I'm realizing how our patterns are almost developed probably in our childhood or even before that. And all of you, when you take cases, spend some time with a patient's childhood. You ask, how was your childhood? Sometimes I just ask, how was your childhood? Sometimes patient says, I was very happy. And they turn out to be different people, and they turn out to have different patterns. And sometimes patients say it was very painful, it was difficult. They turn out to be different patterns. They turn out to be different remedies. I ask them what happened. And you'll hear all kinds of stories. One of my patients used to tell that the childhood was very painful because, she used to be molested and sexually targeted, and it used to affect so much. She used to feel revengeful. And this whole feeling of kind of being molested and all used to make her feel very dirty about herself. And even in the dreams in childhood, there used to be this feeling that, someone will come and molest me or rape me, or I'm trying to run. This can be important patterns. I told you. One of the very important remedies that I've seen with this kind of lot of history of domination, sexual predation, is the remedy Sencris contortex. Childhood, very important. Some patients tell me, Doctor, my childhood was so beautiful. My mother parents used to take so much of care of me. I used to go by a car to the school. I used to come back in a car in the school. I used to say, I want this. They used to give me this. It was a very protective childhood. Typical carbon children. Carbon, very protected. Having a very warm kind of a childhood. And in the adulthood also, they will come out to be a little bit carbonish. So the other very important area, and this is something that I often ask little bit later, after about 15-20 minutes in the case, I often ask this, that okay, can you tell me, आप मुझे आपकी बहुत basic nature, यानी ये सब तो हो गया, all these situations have happened, but at a deeper level, what is your basic nature like? Who are you? आप exactly हो कौन? And sometimes when you ask this, the patient at that time are quite kind of stunned in a way, and they don't know. They've never thought about this. And sometimes when the patient hasn't thought about a particular thing, and you ask them that thing, that opens up the case, and they are able to actually share such kind of history that they are normally not able to share. Today I did one case of again of COVID. One of the question was, can you tell about your basic nature? He said that pata nahi, she's very sarcastic, always sarcastic, huh? Very sarcastic. Interesting, no? Sarcasm. And when you study sarcasm, it has lacquer actually is the main remedy, but there are many carbons. Have a look: carbo veg, graphitis. Interesting, no? Carbonium oxidatum also. But this is who that person is. Likes to mock. Is sarcastic. This is who she is. One of my patient today, I asked her, she had PCOD and all this. I asked, what is, can you describe me your basic nature? She said that, you know, I I don't believe in this all, wearing the mask. Why should we wear the mask? Why? I don't like wearing the mask. I don't believe in all this. And I think it's all wrong. And I'm very rebellious. This is how I have been. I've been a very rebellious person. This is who she is. A person who's very, very rebellious at the deepest level. It's just that the situation right now is that they are telling to wear the mask that makes her feel rebellious. But right from childhood, she has always been a rebellious person. This is the deepest, basic personality trait. This is who she is at a deeper level. When you ask them fears, when you ask them crisis, you ask them difficult situation, there's always a polarity, and you have to ask something which is very, very important. The opposite. You need to understand, when does the person feels the happiest? When does the person feels one with themselves? One patient, he said that he's working in a kind of a situation. His parents are torturing him, and he feels very, very trapped. I said, okay, what do you want to do? He says, I want to do things. I want to kind of, I want to start my own thing. I want to be one with nature. This is what they want to. What this is what he wants to do. So sometimes understanding a person's basic interest, basic hobby, can tell you a lot about his basic nature. One of my patients told me that his biggest interest is to start organic farming. I said, why? Because he wants to help others. This is what he wants to do. This is what he loves doing. This is who he is. Wants to help others. So he's a kind of a very, very sympathetic, affectionate kind of person. This helps us to understand and to find a deeper remedy for him. One of the patient, I asked, what do you want to do? He says, I want to be on stage. I said, why you want to be on stage? He says, I feel alive only when I'm on stage. When I'm on stage and when I hear the claps of people, I forget the world. For me, that is what I want, the claps of people. Just claps and claps and claps. That's it. That's what I want. That's what I live for. Longing for good opinion of others. Palladium. Flattery, desire. Palladium. Sometimes knowing what makes them feel like themselves, what makes them feel, what makes them want to do, what they really want to do, can help you understand them. So this is about the mental aspect. So this will give you a very good idea. The other very important thing, which I have not written here, is occupation. One of the very important things to know is is what work they do. तुम काम क्या करते हो? This gives you a lot of very good idea of who they are. What does it give them, and what does it give you an idea about? It gives you an idea about who they are, what they have done in their life, and what is the deeper pattern within them that has made them do that. For example, one of my patients, yes, he's doing the work of, he's like a, what you can say, travel guide, and that's because he loves traveling. He came out to be a beautiful remedy, tuberculinum. So choosing a particular kind of occupation also shows a lot about who they are. A Calcaria car will want to choose a work which is just home, money, protected finance. They want a very, very 9 to 5 job, Calcaria car. Not tuberculinum. Tuberculinum wants a very risky kind of a job. One of the patient who comes to see me, she is a writer for a movie. I said, why? What do you like about it? She says, when I write about movies, all this, I am just very excited, very, very excited. That's what she chose for her life. To even if the money may not be a lot, but that's what she chose for her life, of writing movies and writing scripts. Because this is who she is. She's a person who wants to be stimulated. She's a person who wants to be excited. She's a person who's a very creative writer. This is Kofia. This is who she is. So when a person chooses, or the person chooses something, or I chose to travel to US. Why did you travel? Plan to study in the US? I wanted to do something. I wanted to come out of my business at home of my parents. I wanted my own freedom. I didn't want restriction. Shows you a little bit about who they are. So when a person chooses a particular occupation, a person chooses something, a person chooses a partner, a person chooses something, it shows a lot about who they are at deeper level. So interesting, no? Everything that the person does, everything the person feels, tells you a lot about who they are, tells you a lot about deeper patterns within them. So interesting, I'm telling you, every single one of you who's chosen to be a homeopath, it's just such an amazing profession where you are able to understand patterns of another person and share with them, explain them, make them understand what they are experiencing at deeper level, and also help them. I don't know of any other profession in the world where you can make such a big difference in someone else's life and also have a beautiful life yourself, because you yourself become aware about all of these things, and you also then start working on yourself, because when you realize life, when you realize so many things about life and about situations of different people and patterns of different people, you realize as a homeopath that you also have your own pattern. And we all have patterns. We all have patterns as homeopaths. It's important we realize them ourselves. We can work on them. We can work on purifying ourselves. No one is God here. No one is saint here. We all have patterns. We have to accept them, and we have to work on them. We have to heal them. We have to heal the wounds that we went through. So after understanding the mind state, the other important area, most of you already know about it, is the generals, the physical generals. This is very, very important. And I will try to kind of bust a few myths. Let's start with thermals. Thermals are important, but they are not the only most important things. Very often, I'm saying very often, many, 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 and you can see here in the repertory, many silicas that I treated, they were affected by hot weather. Have a look. Heat aggravates, and you can see the biggest remedy is silica. But silica is chilly. So interesting, no? So don't. So classically, yes, silica should be affected by cold weather, but they can also be affected by hot weather. So be open to this possibility as well. That what we know about thermals, about homeopathy, about peculiarities is 5% of what it is. So open the repertory, open the Materia Medica and check. Many of my patients who were silica, they were affected by hot weather. So interesting. On the other hand, Many of my patients who were hot patients were affected by cold weather, like sulfur. They were chilly also. So interesting. So when you say thermals, you need to be very careful about this. Then we talk about food. This is a very important aspect. There are two aspects here. One is when you ask them what you like to eat, the craving, the aversion, the allergies. And there can be a direct kind of a craving. Okay. Some person may like ice cream. They can be phosphorus, medorinum, calcarea. Some person may like, let's say, roasted meat. Could be calcarea phos, causticum. Some person may like onion. It could be lycopodium, carcinosin, thuja, medorinum. But I'm telling you to go a little deeper to this. When someone says that I love, let's say, a particular dish, okay, I like Italian, I like pasta. And you need to ask them, what do you feel? And very often patient will tell you, it reminds me of my childhood, it reminds me of my mother, it reminds me of my days in Darjeeling. So sometimes our food desires, cravings, aversions can also be connected to emotional memories. There's strong impact, there's a strong connection. And the only way to know that is by looking at within yourself. You have to look within for that. You look within your own cravings and try to connect it. What is it connected to? I like this kind of pani puri, for example. It reminds me of those college days and my college friendships. Nostalgia, homesickness. So you have to be very specific in that. Similarly, appetite. You have to be very specific. When someone says, I feel hungry, you have to ask them, when do you feel hungry? I feel hungry more at night, especially after 12 o'clock. Hungry at midnight. Increase in thirst is not only arsenic and bryonia. What we think normally, that thirst increased. Okay. Thirst, let's say, frequent thirst. Okay. What we normally think, we think it has to be arsenic and bryonia. But there are many remedies. There is pulsatilla also. And we normally think pulsatilla is thirstless. So interesting. So be open, be flexible. Yes, the main thing in the case, if a person says, I feel very thirsty, then the remedy should also be the biggest marked remedy in that big marked, big intense symptom of the patient. Big marked symptom in the patient should be big marked symptom of that remedy. I hope you understand what I mean. All kind of discharges, perspiration, menstrual history, these are very important. This also tells you a little bit about miasmatic background. For example, when patient tells me, oh, my menses, they stain the cloth a lot. So they stain the cloth and they're difficult to wash. This is often a very psychotic miasmatic background. You can see all psychotic remedies here: medorinum, pulsatilla, thalaspi, silica, magnesium carb, the laccaninum. These are all remedies with a strong psychotic miasm background. So many physical generals show miasmatic backgrounds of a person, of a state of a person. When someone tells you I sweat a lot, don't stop there. You ask them, when is this sweating maximum? You said you sweat a lot. When is it? Oh doctor, when I eat something, my face is sweating. Oh, is it? Acha? So perspiration on the face, eating while, acha? Whenever I'm eating, the face sweats a lot. This could be carbo animalis. This could be ignatia. It could be natrum muriaticum. It could be sulfur. Someone asks, big mark means what? Big mark means this. Now, perspiration eating after big mark is chamomilla. If the symptom is very, very intense in the patient, for example, if a patient says that I feel lot of sweat on the face after eating, then that remedy should also be so much marked, which you want to give in that rubric also. Okay. I hope you can see now. Let's come back. But this is a generalized case taking pattern map that I want to give you. I want it to go within you. This you have to feel the energy of the person. You have to understand who is this person. Fatak says remedy should be your friends. Even if the remedy is walking from far away, from there you should be able to make out. Acha, this is my friend Alpesh, because his leg is like this, like that from far away. Just by one symptom, you should be able to get a little bit of flavor. Oh, this is calcarea calf. Oh. And finally, one of the last but very important symptom for me, I kept it for last because we give very less importance to it. But I want to tell you about it. A lot of importance has to be given to sleep position. You have to ask, how do you sleep? For example, how the patient sleeps position. Okay. For example, Thuja patient always lie on the left side. Remember, if the patient lie on left side, it's a very important symptom of Thuja. Also Mercury. Remember, Mercury cannot lie on the right side. Every time Mercury lie on right side, they will develop vomiting. Very, very peculiar. Sometimes the mothers send me the picture of how the children are sleeping. For example, some people like to sleep with their legs spread apart, like pulsatilla, like sulfur, like magnesium cow. Some like to keep stretched out, like laccaninum. So sleep position, one of my favorite, and this is something I do a lot. Many cases of children, many cases of children, developmentally delayed children, etc. Biggest remedy wants to lie down on abdomen, medorinum. I've helped so many patients with medorinum. Sometimes just with this symptom and many other symptoms also. Sleep position, very important. Are you all with me? Did you get an idea about how to understand this pattern? How to go deeper level? What are the different maps? What are the different areas? I want to take you step by step into understanding this. I know you're from different states, different countries, different learning homeopathy, different colleges, so many different or practicing or internship or whatever, and having your own challenges. But we have to go step by step. And finally, I want to tell you just 2 or 3 things about, as a homeopath, when you take the case, okay, one of the most important things that you want to do is you have to connect at a deeper level to the patient. You have to understand what that person is going through. You have to understand what is the deeper pattern of that person. You have to learn to keep a blank. You have to learn to not be prejudiced. For example, a patient might tell you, oh, doctor, you know what? I have, you know, I beat my wife every day. So because you are a feminist, you might feel, oh, he's a bad guy. I want to give him lackesses. That's not the right way. You can't you can't have a prejudiced mind about a particular person just because you may not like a particular quality in him. You have to understand how he must have developed that particular quality. What is deeper to this? Why is he beating up his wife? Oh, I beat my wife because I don't know. When you go understand his deeper pattern, you understand his childhood, you understand it may be traumatized. And maybe that's the way he has so many wounds, he has so much of traumatism from childhood, and that's why he's treating everyone like this. try to understand at a deeper level. So try being unprejudiced. This is what Hanuman said, no? So this is what I want you to do. Good. So yeah. So this is up for me today. Please write to us. Write to us, write to me. What did you understand today in the lecture? You can write to me. What is the homework? You have to read the book Art of Interrogation and Art of Case Taking. You will see that this is Pierre Schmidt. You can find this book on, just Google about this. Maybe you will find this book online. You may be able to read this book online also. I don't know. I want you to read this before I teach next time. Good. And I want you to write to me. What did you learn today? What did you learn about case taking today? All right.
Hello everyone. In this short video, I'll quickly guide you on how to access the beginner's course on this website, which is drgaurangaikwad.com. Since the course is already posted on the website, I'll take you through the exact steps you need to follow so that you can watch it easily. This is just a simple manual, so let's get started. When you open this page, open the website page, you have to go in the Academy section. In the Academy section, this page will open up. When you go down on this page, you have to scroll down to find Explorer courses, in which you'll find the beginner's course in homeopathy. When you go here, you have to just click on preview this course. This directs you to this page in which you have the description, the curriculum, and the reviews of the course. So in the description, there is a lot of content written over here which describes the course, the modules that it has, etc. And you have the curriculum here. So now when you want to get access to the course, you have to first click on Get Course option here in blue on the right side. On clicking that option, you will be directed to the cart. In the cart, you have to go down and click on Proceed to Checkout. Once you do that, you will be directed to this page of checkout. Here, you'll have a lot of billing details that have to be filled in order to create an account if you already don't have one. So if you already have an account, you'll have to click here to log in. If you don't have an account, you'll have to fill in the billing details over here and click on the create an account option. So here I've filled the billing details for a demo student using a demo email ID as well. You have to put in your own email and your billing details correctly. And then click on create an account and place order. Once you do that, you will be directed to this page in which it will be written, thank you for your order, and this will be the course that you have. Once you have the course here, you have to go on the view option, which is there on the right hand side. Here we are. We can just start the course by clicking on this option on the right side, and you're directed to the video lectures. Please enjoy learning in this way and let us know your feedbacks.